Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy and I'm the knitter behind Knitting Matters, and I love to talk about all things knitting. I love to talk about yarn, I love to talk about patterns, I love to talk about things that are inspiring me for the seasons ahead. And today I have a podcast update for you. So if you're interested to see what I've been working on over the last month, then just keep watching. So the first thing that I want to talk about this episode is what I'm wearing, and that is my holly sweater by Knitting for Olive. So I had, my last video was a roundup of all the patterns that had inspired me for Christmas, and you guys were really helpful in helping me to make my choice, and I narrowed it down to two, which was the holly sweater and the snow sweater, and I gave my children the final vote, and this is the one that they chose. So it is a top-down sweater, circle yoke, knit in the round, and oops, and this is what she's looking like. So I'll just pop a bit of video in here of so you can see the full effect. But I love it. Just to cut to the chase, I absolutely love it. So this is the first sweater that I have knit using Knitting for Olive yarn. I had made an Oslo hat with Knitting for Olive yarn, which I enjoyed, and I was a little bit nervous because it is not the cheapest yarn that's on the market, but it is ethically sourced, which I was really pleased about, and I will say it is absolutely divine, and I'm really enjoying the yarn that I've used particularly. So for the main body, I used the recommended colours in the pattern for the main body, which is the merino in the colour oatmeal, and the soft silk mohair in the colour cream. So I still have quite a lot of the cream left, but as you can see, I was really beginning to play a bit of yarn chicken with the merino, and this is all I had left. I bought the recommended quantities for the size I made. I made extra large, so I have a bust circumference of 104 centimetres, and I wanted it to have an extra bit of positivity, so I actually made the size extra large. It has perhaps a little bit more positivities than I wish it did. There's part of me that thinks maybe I wish I'd made the large. I just really hate having tight sweaters, and particularly around Christmas when I'm prone to overindulging, so I didn't want it to be too tight. I do think I probably could have sized down one size, but that said, I just really adore the sweater. So I was playing a little game of yarn chicken, so I bought the recommended quantities, but as you can see, I was definitely playing yarn chicken with the merino. So I actually stopped the body in order to finish the sleeves when I had, I think, about 2 skeins left. So I finished the sleeves because I think if you're going to run out of yarn, I would rather have it slightly shorter in the body but have the correct length on the arms than have arms that are too short. So I finished the arms and then I continued on and finished the body, and actually I did manage to get the length out of it that I wanted with a little bit of yarn to spare. So this is the colour oatmeal, which is held together with the cream silk mohair, and I absolutely love the texture that it gives and the like the tonality that it gives to the colour. So it's not just a flat beige, and I do think that is in large part the colour combination that you get by having a different coloured mohair with the merino. So I really enjoy the colour and the texture of the yarn for the main body. The green of the holly leaves is bottle green, and I held that together with the bottle green silk mohair. And the berries, the recommended colour for the berries is pomegranate, but I chose to use red currant just because pomegranate is a slightly orangey red, and I prefer a blue red, so I went for the red currant berries. So when I got to the colourwork section of the yoke, I considered adding the berries as an afterthought, which I had seen somebody do on Ravelry, and I thought that that was a fantastic idea to add them afterwards as a bobble with a crochet hook. And I considered doing that, and then I just decided to get on with it. So I did the 3-stranded colourwork. and I'm not disappointed with that. The only thing I will say is that my berries are slightly different sizes, so I have some that are a bit more generous and some that are perhaps a little bit more meagre, like this one. So they're all odd sizes, but I actually think that that adds a little bit of character and is true to the berries that you find in nature. So, you know, that's the line that I'm going with for the berries. So I typically I'm an English style thrower, but I also flirt with continental knitting sometimes. So I will either flick with my right hand and then continental with my left. That's usually how I do colour work. And that is how I did the colour work yoke on this section, but I also, so I held the green in my left hand and the main colour in my right hand, and then I picked up the berry colour with my right hand also when that was needed. I think I've gone into too much detail there, but that's what I did. So yeah, that's my holly sweater. I'm really impressed with how the yarn is holding up. So I finished it around the 28th of November, so just at the very, very end of November. I don't think I have ever knit a sweater as quickly as I have knit this one. I knit it in such a short space of time, and I surprised myself a little bit because usually a sweater will take me a couple of months, and I'm okay with that. I'm not a speed knitter. For me, it's not really about the speed that you get things done, it's just about enjoying the journey, and I definitely enjoyed the journey of this one, but it did surprise me a little bit how fast I managed to make it, which is a good thing. But it also meant that I've been able to wear it a substantial amount throughout December, and I haven't had a single pill. This is usually where I get them. I usually get them on my forearm and the underarms and on the side of the body, and I haven't had a single pill. There's no sign that the pills are coming, so I'm really, really delighted with how the yarn is holding up. Yeah, and I think that's all I want to say about my holly sweater, really. In case you hadn't gathered, I really, really love it. I would highly recommend the pattern. I highly recommend the yarn. Yeah, and that's my Christmas sweater for 2025. Done. So my next finished item is actually 5 finished items. I think you may have seen some of these already in previous podcasts, but you definitely haven't seen all of them. So I am making Oslo hats for my teachers, no, for my daughter's teachers this year. I'm not usually in the business of knitting for teachers, for no other reason than I just don't know whether they would want hand knitted gifts. But my daughter has asked me particularly to make them for her teachers this year. She's very keen that I help her with this, so I said yes. So I have made 5 Oslo hats. It started off just being one for her teacher and one for her teaching assistant. And then she wanted one for the teacher of the other class in her year group because they spend quite a lot of time together. And then she felt a bit sad that the teacher she had last year didn't get one because I didn't make them last year. So I ended up making another 2 for them as well. So I will just run through the colours with you and then we'll talk about them in a bit more detail. So this is the shade Flamingo. This is Burnt Orange. This one is Dusty Artichoke. This one is Dusty Honey. And Jeans Blue, or Blue Jeans. I think it's Blue Jeans. So these have all been knit with Knitting for Olive Merino and Soft Silk Mohair. I have managed to just use the one skein of merino for all of these hats, but I did need to break into the second ball of silk mohair, usually when I got to about here, so quite close to the top, just as I was doing the decreases. I think it was maybe like 4 or 5 decreases in where I had to switch to the second ball of mohair, which is a little bit annoying, but it means that I do now have a big bag of extra mohair. So for example, If you look at the Dusty Honey, that's how much mohair I had, merino I had left behind, which is like hardly anything, but most of a whole ball of mohair. So I have lots of mohair that I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with, but anyway, I've got it safe here for the future. Not sure. Maybe I might make some mittens or something. Just pick up another ball of merino and maybe make some mittens. But they'll be for me, probably. So they've taken me about 8 to 10 hours each to make. You start off at the bottom. This is the bottom. I know it doesn't look it. It looks halfway up. But you knit the cuff double length and then knit it together. Then you knit these turning rows before knitting the main body. And then you have a 4-point decrease at the top there. So, like I said, they take me between 8 and 10 hours each. And I've been slowly plugging away at them. They've been the project that I sort of chuck in my bag whenever I'm leaving the house. So I've been working on these in all sorts of places, on buses, at the side of rugby pitches, at the side of swimming pools. So yeah, really great project. I think I've got 2 of the sizes completely memorized now. I've made that many of them. Great for beginners. I think this would be a really fantastic, there's some good skills in here for beginners that you may need to pick up along the way, but I think it's not out of the realms of possibility. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about them, so I think I'll leave it there. But those are the Oslo hats that I have made, and they are going to be gifted today. So I'm just going to get these wrapped up and then gift them away later today. The next thing that I want to talk about is a new cast on from my previous episode, and that is the Porcelain Sweater Junior by Lena Holm Samso, who trades as Knit on her website. So this is a wonderful, wonderful pattern, and the junior version of the porcelain sweater that I made earlier this year. So I have made the adult size, or I think it was intended to be my Christmas sweater last year, but I didn't actually manage to get it done until about April this year. And I made mine in Sandnesgarn Tin Pigment and the Sandnesgarn mohair. The recommended, and that is a double knit gauge, but the recommended yarn for this one is actually the Sunday by Sandnesgarn, and is a fingering weight sweater. So I chose not to use the Sunday. I have chosen to use, so Sunday is a 4-ply merino, and I have chosen to use Baby Merino by Drops, which is a sport weight yarn or a 3-ply. It is a slightly heavier gauge, so a slightly thicker yarn, which means that my gauge is off, but making it a little bit bigger. I'm okay with that. I think a little bit more size is something for her to grow into, so I'm really happy with that. And it has created this really beautiful fabric. So I have used the colours cream and I believe it's electric blue. I'll make sure I pop it down below if it's anything different. And here it is. So it's constructed in the same way as the adult size, in that you start at the back yoke. So you start here and knit up. Then you pick up stitches at the shoulders. See if you can see my pickup row there. And work a few German short rows to do some shaping, cast on some stitches for the neck, and then you knit down the front yoke before joining in the round here. So then the rest of the pattern is all stockinette in the round. I went up 0.5 millimeter needle size for the colour work. So I think I'm using 3 millimeter needles for the main, or in fact I'll be able to tell you because I've got it right here. Yes, so I'm using 3 millimeter needles for the cream, and anything that is with the blue I'm using 3.5 millimeter needles for, because my colour work is just slightly tighter. And the pattern does recommend it. So this is the first time that I've actually done that, where I've used a different size needle for the colour work, and I'm not mad at it. I think it looks quite good, and it gives a gauge that's quite similar to the stockinette, so that's good. I really didn't enjoy doing this vine. I mean, it looks stunning. This vine colour work chart is absolutely beautiful, but I really didn't enjoy knitting it when I made the adult size sweater. but I really did enjoy it this time round. So I actually got it done really quickly. I managed to whiz through it in, I think, 2 evenings, I think it took me, which might be because there's much less stitches, which might be why I didn't hate it quite so much this time round. But either way, that's the vine work, which I'm really, really enjoying. And then the final band of colour work is this sort of snowflake design. Don't know if you can see that clearly. So it fits her really perfectly now. I got her to try it on before, and this is unblocked. It is a superwash merino and it does grow, so I'm thinking that there's going to be quite a bit of positive ease if it does grow much more than this. But I'm really determined to get this done. So now the hats are finished, this has got to be my priority for this weekend, because I just really want to have some photos over Christmas of us both wearing our porcelain sweaters. I think that'll be really cute, and I'm not sure if she's going to want to match with me next year, so I really want to make sure I get it done this year. And I'm not far off, so I have just got one more colour work row to do. I have this colour work row to do on the sleeve and then the cuff, and then I've got the second sleeve to do and I'll be done. So yeah, don't know what else to say about this one other than I'm really enjoying it. Oh, I've made the size 7 to 8 just to add on to that as well. So yeah, that is my Porcelain Sweater Junior. The other thing that I have been working on since the last time we spoke is also a new cast on, and that's because it is a Christmas gift for my mum. And it is only in the very early stages, but this will be an Eva cardigan by PetiteKnit. So if you've watched my channel before, you will know that over the summer I knit an Eva cardigan in the Berger de France e-cotton in like a beige colour, like a I think that might be the name of it actually. I think it was just called beige. But it was yarn that I had in my stash that I had originally bought for one project, and it had been so long that it took me to knit that project that I changed my mind. And I made this really lovely cotton cardigan over the summer. It was the perfect like chuck on over your tops, keep you warm, but it was breathable, machine washable. I just really, really enjoyed it. So I cast it on when I was on the aeroplane going to Cyprus, knit it while I was on holiday. I didn't manage to get it finished while I was on holiday, but I did finish it shortly after we got home. And not long after I had finished it, did my mother proclaim it to be hers. Now, I will just disclaim, I get on really well with my mum. I am not at all offended that she has taken my cardigan. In fact, I'm really happy to have made something that she loves as much as she does. So anything I say about my mother having my cardigan is in jest. But she procured my lovely cotton cardigan and was wearing it a substantial amount. And when I was just sort of putting the idea out there that maybe she might give it back one day, she said no, that wouldn't be happening. And I don't mind that, because she wears it all the time. If I pop over there for a cup of tea, she's always got it on. She loves it. And she did say that she might give it back if I made her own one in blue. So she chose this blue. She wanted it in exactly the same yarn, exactly the same everything. So even though I had that yarn in my stash and I was trying to get rid of it, I ended up buying more because my mum wanted a blue cardigan. So this is, I'll get the exact name of the shade because it's evading me at the moment. But this is all I've done so far. So I have done the back neck, and then the pattern sees you picking up for stitches here for the shoulder panels. So I have completed the shoulder panels and I have just joined around, and I'm just starting the sleeve caps here. So there isn't an awful lot to show you, but I'm hoping to get it done in time for Christmas. The more time is ticking on, the more I'm thinking that might be a bit optimistic, but I'm going to aim to get it done for Christmas. If I don't, it's her birthday in February, and she will be patient enough with me to accept it as a birthday gift instead of a Christmas gift. So I have sort of 2 deadlines for this one, but I'm really hoping that this one will be done in time for Christmas. So yeah, not much else to say about this one other than I'm really enjoying the pattern. I do enjoy PetiteKnit's patterns. I think they're very well written, they're very clear. that's my Eva cardigan. And the only other thing that I think I have been working on since the last time we spoke is the Louvre Sweater by PetiteKnit, and I'm knitting this one in the West Yorkshire Spinners fleece in the colour Celeste. This is actually an Aran weight yarn. It is not the sorry, the lighting has just done something really strange. The sun has just like moving around. It is not the recommended yarn for the pattern. The recommended yarn for the pattern is Peer Gynt by Sandnes Garn, which is a very thick, very heavy double knit weight yarn. And this is a worsted weight. So I actually get a very similar gauge using this to Peer Gynt. So yeah, that's how I got to that decision really. This is the third one that I have made. I've made an orange one in Drops Lima. And I made another purple one actually in Knit Picks palette, and they are really great staples in my wardrobe. So I wear them often and I enjoy wearing them. So I just wanted to make another one to add to my project. It's really nice to have a straightforward, easy stockinette stitch pattern. And I think the last time I showed it to you, maybe I had finished the collar and was working on the raglan increases, but I don't think I'd got much further than that. But I have very recently finished the raglan increases. So the stitches are now on hold for the sleeves. And this is my first time using like these stitch holders. So I don't know how I feel about them yet, but we'll see, we'll see. Yeah, and I've done about, I think 2 or 3 rows. So there's not a lot to say about this one. It's a straightforward pattern and I am just chugging away at this whenever I get time. Although I haven't had, oh, I'm going to lose my stitches. Oh, just lost one. Let me just pick that one back up. So I am just working on this whenever I get a bit of time, which I must say I've been prioritizing the Christmas gifts for now. So this one has taken a bit of a back seat, but hopefully I'll be able to pick it up again soon and get that one finished. So yeah, that's my Louvre sweater. Those are the only things that I have been actively working on since the last time we spoke, but I have just a couple other plans that I'm hoping to get done in time for Christmas. So I had this book for a little while, which is by Arne and Carlos. It is the 55 Christmas balls to make, and it has loads of really gorgeous patterns for, you know, tree decorations, Christmas tree decorations here. But look how young they look on the cover. But they have recently released another one, so I picked it up. This is the 65 new Christmas balls to make by Arne and Carlos. Now Arne and Carlos are Nordic knitwear designers. I really adore the patterns that they make, the colours that they bring in. I just really appreciate it all, really. But anyway, they've created another book with some more Christmas balls that I would quite like to make. I think my mum would really appreciate them, but actually I'd just quite like to have some more handmade decorations on my tree. So I have 1 or 2, but I would, you know, that you can see, but I would just like a few more. So yeah, I'm really intrigued by these colours, and yeah, just wanted to share that this is a great book if you want some Christmas tree decorations. And on the theme of Christmas tree decorations, I picked up this Sandnes Garn booklet. These aren't the easiest to get hold of because you do have to buy them when purchasing some Sandnes Garn yarns, which isn't a problem for me because I tend to buy quite a lot of Sandnes Garn yarns. But if you're, you know, if you're not able to get hold, they can be difficult to get hold of. But I purchased this booklet for this pattern, which is in there, the green star. So it's a tree decoration and it has instructions on this really beautiful embroidery. So that is the pattern. It has just plain stars. And then it has instructions on how to make the like really beautiful embroidery that you can see there with sort of beads and thread. So I'm hoping to make 1 or 2 of those for my tree, and maybe if I have time, 1 or 2 for my mum's tree, but I'm not sure if I do feel like I'm running out of time. And the last thing that I think I would quite like to make is from this book from Rowan. So Martin's Story is another Fair Isle or colour work designer that I am really drawn to, and I've made quite a few of his patterns as well. So one of the things that I have already made but I am quite keen to make some more of is this one, which is the snowflake coaster. I'll just get it actually. So I've already made one of these. Let me just try and get the light right. So I've already made one of these snowflake coasters that to be honest, is in my house all year round. I don't put it away for Christmas. But I would like to make some more of them, and if I have time, maybe some placemats for my Christmas dinner table. So it's just a really simple colour work design, but I think it just adds a really nice touch to the house. So if I have time, I'm going to try and make some more of these because I have enough of this felted tweed left over from a different project to make, I think, maybe another 3. But yeah, if I have time, I will be casting that on anytime soon. So that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. It's a very Christmassy season this time, or very Christmassy episode this time, but you know, it is the mid-December, so that's normal. But yeah, I'd love to know what you're making for Christmas. Are you making any Christmas gifts, or do you have any decorations that you're going to be making this year? If you do, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear. I would love to be introduced to some more patterns, so please do let me know. And I hope to catch up with you guys again soon. Bye!